want to unveil to you the 4 keys you're going to need to rock the world. The first one is one you've probably heard before, but I want to take it a little further. It's you. You've got to dream. But most of us dream. The problem is we don't dream big enough. For some of you, when I said a future president, I saw hands clapping, I saw people excited. And for others, I know in your heart of hearts you said that'll never be me. For some of us, we have a problem dreaming bigger than what we can see or what we feel we can achieve. I need you to take the training wheels off of your dreams. I need you to move beyond what you think you can do into the realm of what you think you can't do. The funny thing about dreams is you know you're on to something when your dream is big enough to scare you and cause people to laugh at you. No one likes to be laughed at, right? But the funny thing about dreamers, the funny thing about big dreamers is they're no longer trying to fit in, they're trying to stand out. Oh, you got a phone, you might want to tweet that. Big dreamers aren't trying to fit in, they're trying to stand out. There was a 4th grade class that was given an average assignment. The teacher asked them to go home tonight and think about what you want to be when you grow up. So all of the students dutifully went home, and when they came back the next day, this teacher asked them to stand and share with the class what they would be when they grew up. So one student said a fireman, and to that everyone said, oh, that's nice. Another student stood up and said, I want to be a doctor. Another said a nurse. Another said a lawyer. And to all of those, they were met with, oh, that's nice, by the teacher and the students. But then there was one student in the class who stood up and said, I want to be on TV. When that student made that assertion, when they stepped out and put their big dream in front of their 4th grade class, the entire class erupted in ridiculous laughter. The teacher said, no, seriously, Steve, tell us what you really want to be. And he looked again with more resolve this time and said, I want to be on TV. The teacher said, that's not good enough, Steve. Steve, that's insane. You can't do it. I want you to go home and I want you to think about this and I want you to come back here on Monday, because it was Friday, on Monday, with a real answer for this question. Steve went home and he talked to his mom. Steve said, I went to class today and I told the teacher I want to be on TV. And his mom said, what did the teacher say? She said, you can't do it. His mother, and thank the Lord for good mothers. His mother said, Steve, don't listen to her. You can do anything you put your mind to. So for the rest of the year, Steve was laughed at by his classmates and they said, hey, guess what? There's a guy that's going to be on TV. Yeah, right. But 40 years later, now he's laughing. 40 years later, you know Steve, not just by his first name, but by his whole name, Steve Harvey. You know Steve not only had his own television show in the 90s, you also know that Steve has a syndicated satellite radio show that is heard by millions every morning. You know that Steve has written books. You know that Steve has his own show in the afternoons now. You also know that his books have been turned into movies. This is the same Steve Harvey who had a dream so big that his 4th grade class, even his teacher laughed at him and told him it couldn't be done. But now who's laughing? When you dream big, it's going to separate you. When people laugh at you, guess what? All they're doing is opting out of the next chapter in your success story. Woo, that's good. When they laugh at you, all they're saying is they are no longer qualified to walk with you. You got to get this because people will laugh at your dreams. They'll look at you and they'll think you're crazy. And the funny thing is you'll think you're crazy. Because when you try to do big things, what happens? That little voice shows up. Big things are always accompanied by a little voice. And that little voice does what? It tells you you can't do it. It tells you who wants to hear you. What makes you so special? Why should you do it? So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you the best advice you can get for handling that little voice. Tell it to shut up. Because that little voice is designed to keep you complacent. It's designed to keep you average. But you were destined to be great. You were destined to rock the world. But in order to do it, you have to dream big. So your first key is dream big. once you got your scary big dream in tow, the next thing you got to do is you got to make a decision. First thing is you got to dream big. Second thing is you have to decide. I'm going to say it with you. First thing is dream big. Second thing is decide.